Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hey, Lucky, how's it going?
Doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. It's great to see you.
Yeah, you had some meetings at times I couldn't make it, so finally you're back at a time that I can.
All good. Glad to have you. Hey, Connor.
What's up?
Connor,
How's
got
it
the
going?
Onda stickers too.
Oh, I love it. Repping, man.
Oh, man. I got mine too.
Steven was just hanging out over here.
That makes me so stoked to see.
Yeah. Are
Onda
you
in the house.
involved with Onda, or are you just like repping the company or like the product?
No, I'm actually working with Steven, so I'm helping
Sweet.
him on the business development side of things.
Epic. Really cool.
Yeah, I
Good to meet you.
just jumped in November timeframe, so recently joined the team.
Cool.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome. Yeah, Steven was just hanging out for a couple days here in SoCal.
Oh, was he crashing with you, Greg?
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, he
And
stayed,
now I actually have a face to the name that I've been hearing.
And Leia, my partner, she's here too. But
Hi.
yeah.
Well, sweet. Just to give context on Onda, it's a regenerative hemp oil brand for those who are just joining in and haven't heard of Onda. Really great company that Farmers Footprint is aligned with. So sweet. Well, thank you everyone for jumping in. It's always great to see some familiar faces and some new faces. So welcome in if this is your first time. We're going to be chatting all things about Garden Club. So thank you guys for taking the time today to kind of join us, ask any questions, and kind of go with the flow with us on this journey to gardening. Without further ado, if you would I'd love for everybody to kind of just take the time to put in the chat where you're based. It'd be great to kind of see who's who in the room and if you have any friends that are nearby. My name's Inès Frazier. I'm the community manager for Farmers Footprint. I'm based in Houston, Texas. So it is super sunny and a little bit, probably a lot hotter than it is where most of you guys are based. But love to see it. Yeah, Lucky, very close to where I am. Awesome, possum. Just to kind of give a brief agenda for today, we will go over the garden club that we're offering. I will kind of walk you through all of the offerings within that, kind of go through my story, why I got into farming and agriculture. Greg will go into his story about why he got into farming and agriculture and what he's kind of up to. And kind of just at the end, have a question and answer. So if there's anything that you're wanting to learn more about within our offerings, and also hear from Byron, who was one of our garden club community members from last year, and kind of just see his journey that's kind of transitioned from last year to this year. So that's kind of the basis for the call for today. And without further ado, Greg, what's kind of growing in your garden these days?
Well, it's a really interesting day. Also, this is like the first day of spring, or is this kind of the equinox going in from today and tomorrow? I don't know if tomorrow's the start or today's the start, but it's a really exciting time for me and for a lot of gardeners, I'm sure, because it's obviously marks the new season, and I'm starting to plant all the summer, spring varieties. So some zucchinis are going in. I have starts of all these like zucchinis and tomatoes and peppers and things like that. But currently in the ground, since they've been there for a few months, we've got a lot of lettuces, a lot of leafy greens, arugula, spinach, fava beans, fennel, celery, a lot of broccoli, kale, like those brassicas, those dark leafy green, Swiss chard. Those are all the veggies and stuff in the ground. And then a lot of fruits and stuff still going. Citrus are doing really well right now in Southern California. Winter is a nice time for them to, and avocados, they start to fruit and ripen up right now. Strawberries are just coming in, which is really cool. Red up. Yeah, well, obviously we have different, there's a good amount of different places around the country and the world here, which is awesome. So we have lots of different climates. And one of the beauties of this garden club is kind of tailor making it so that it's accessible for everybody. So you can learn how to grow in your climate and how to follow the seasons and how to do season extensions, if whether that's with shade in the summertime if it's too hot, or greenhouses, or frost cloth in the wintertime when it gets a little colder. So yeah, but it all comes down to healthy soil practices, which kind of can grow lots of amazing vegetables. So that was a long intro, I guess.
No, I love it. I love it. I love to hear about all of the things that are kind of growing in your space. And I think it's kind of the beauty of what people can look forward to, what's happening in their gardens and what they can eventually grow and supply themselves. So yeah, thanks for sharing about that. Just going to give a quick background about myself, and then I'll pass it on to Greg. I got into farming a couple years ago. I'd say there were 3 pillars into my story as to how I got into agriculture and farming. My dad's a prepper, so lots of self-sufficiency. As a kid, I did not appreciate it, but now I'm very thankful for that and having those memories and understanding what he was thinking about and preparing me for in the real world. So that would say the first pillar is. The second one would be in kindergarten, when there was a really adamant teacher about native plants, ecosystems, and wilderness. And again, did not understand. She was just super enthusiastic and just kind of followed along suit. But we had an entire sweet potato journey. So we planted the sweet potatoes, we got to harvest them, and then we had a sweet potato potluck. So everybody had to bring back some dish that was either culturally relevant or traditionally relevant, or just something that they really appreciated about sweet potatoes. And that kind of kickstarted my journey into gardening as a kid, which I think is really useful and tangible today, even just impacting the youth within agriculture. And then the third one's on kind of a sad note, but my best friend passed away to terminal brain cancer when I was 13. And from that journey, I wanted to look into what were some ways that I could potentially save the people that I love, or at least make their journey here last longer with a quality of health. So it kind of took a deep dive into nutrition and environmentalism and toxins and all of the sorts. And that kind of kicked my journey into soil health and soil microbiology in undergrad. So that's kind of where I'm starting and coming from. And now I work on a small urban farm here in Houston and do a little bit of beekeeping on the side. So it's always kind of getting my hands in the ground, nitty gritty, loving those aspects. But I'll pass it along to Greg to share a little bit about his journey.
Thank you. Really good to hear those. I always enjoy hearing that about the prepper upbringing, and then it just like didn't really enjoy it, and then now you're really like, oh, it's actually pretty good.
I'm in it.
I know those things. And you kind of make it your own. It doesn't have to be like super extreme, but you can at least be self-sufficient and stuff. So yeah, thanks for that. I'll jump into my story, so I'll try to keep it kind of brief. But as a kid, I was always, outside and playing lots of sports, loving the rain, like being outside, playing in the rain, jumping in puddles and all that stuff. Going camping, surfing, whatever I could do. And then never thought I was gonna be gardening or farming as a adult. I grew up in the suburbs, like in the city. Didn't grow up on a ranch or a farm. Don't own any farmland or anything like that. Still don't. So there was in college. I was working at a farm to table restaurant. I was also playing college sports. I was playing soccer and so it was like high protein diets, a lot of meats and vegetables too, but it was more carbs, it's more bread. But I was working at this farm to table restaurant in college, and I remember having the aha moment for me was literally like having this salad. And it had tons of, first of all, flavor. Like I'd never tasted something so fresh and delicious as far as like green vegetables go. And then I just noticed that transferred to energy on the soccer field. When I was training, I had more energy. I was more alive. I wasn't lethargic. I had, wasn't lethargic after meals. I was really like energetic. And so something like clicked for me, like it tastes better. I feel better. Like why is this happening, and why is this not the norm? So after a little more research and stuff and just asking around, it was like in the vegetables, and this really healthy soil creates healthy food, and then those nutrients transfer to us. And then it's just like that totally clicked for me. I started my own garden and started eating from that, feeling really good. And I just wanted there was two things of I wanted to do more because I wasn't growing enough so I could be self-sufficient. A small garden is good, but you need a lot more space to have a significant impact on your diet. So I started growing more food, and at the same time graduated college and trying to like figure out, I was a business major, so I was like trying to get in the business world and sales, but I still want to do something good for the planet. So I started getting into solar sales, and then I'm in Southern California. We're in a big drought, so I wanted to do things with water collection and spent a few years installing rainwater and gray water systems in Southern California, capturing as much water as we can, and all that water was to be directed into the landscape. So we were growing food with that water, fruit trees, vegetables. And that's the part where I started to become a little more serious about growing food. And I really connected to growing fruit trees. So it was like this conservation, it clicked for me on all levels, like having a career, having a vocation, and also doing something better for the planet, and then feeling better about yourself and as far as nutritionally. I was also outside, exercising a lot. Then I got into native landscaping for California and doing edible landscaping for backyards and installing lots of vegetable gardens and lots of orchards. I worked in Hawaii for a year as well on a fruit tree orchard farm through woofing.com. If you ever heard of woofing, it's like a placement for putting workers on farmland, and you can kind of do a work trade. Really cool for people in their gap years, or anybody. So anyways, just native landscaping in California, tropical farming in Hawaii, just loving all this food growing aspect of things. Really wanted to continue that, and just worked a lot of part-time jobs until I can make it, a full farming career. And I still don't own any land. I lease land and grow a lot of vegetables and do a market garden style, which is selling direct to consumer through CSAs and farm stands. So yeah, it's kind of my gig now, and doing online garden classes and teaching people how to grow food in their backyard, because it's the most nutritious. There's so many health benefits as far as like getting outside and exercising, but the nutrient density of the soil transfers to the nutrients to the vegetables, and it's just like a win-win for me. So I'm like full into this, and I'm happy to share the story with you. So I'm going to show a quick video of what let me do a share screen. Quick video of the garden club, and let's do it. You see that? All right. What's the most significant thing you can do to take control of your own health? Grow your own food, of course. I'm Farmer Greg, and with Farmer's Footprint, we're hosting the Garden Club. So Farmer's Footprint's put out a lot of stories about how farmers have incorporated regenerative principles on the farm scale. And this is your opportunity to incorporate those regenerative principles on the home and garden scale. The Garden Club is a 3-week course with video tutorials, infographics, step-by-step instructions, and live Q&As with me and the rest of the community. In this course, we're going to show you how to build a raised bed, actually how to construct it, setting up irrigation, building soil, maintaining crops throughout the entire season, integrating pest management, and weed control. It's going to be pretty radish. Each month, we're going to have different themes on how to live a more regenerative lifestyle, and I'll be there to help you troubleshoot along the way. Some of the themes we'll talk about are raising chickens, making kombucha, growing mushrooms, keeping bees, growing microgreens, and so much more. If you have a couple acres, or if you have just a small backyard or a patio or balcony, we're going to break down all the barriers to show you how you can build soil and grow really healthy food right where you live. 97% of people who joined the Garden Club last year said they felt confident in continuing their garden journey. So I hope to see you in the Garden Club. Yeah, that's it. That was the Garden Club promo. And again, just in that, there's a lot of information, but the initial month of the Garden Club in April is going to be a really deep dive into setting up the garden, the infrastructure, and the really important thing is to set up healthy soil, conditions for the soil, which is watering or irrigation, checking out your sunlight, if there's any weeds on your property, or if you have, or just a patio if you're growing in pots and things. So we emphasize a lot on the for lack of a better word, the infrastructure, or like the initial foundation of healthy soil and where it's going to be, because that is just number one, and that can grow with those systems. You can grow pretty much any fruit or vegetable. So the growing a certain plant will come later on in the next months, and the specifics of soil health and how to set that up, how to set up a garden properly, will be emphasized heavily in the first month, and then we'll be there, each month to kind of troubleshoot, and you can ask questions and through our live Q&As about certain vegetables, and because each thing will have a little bit, little tiny differences. But like I said, if you have the healthy soil and watering and setting it up right, then that's the 90% of gardening, and makes it a lot easier to set it up correctly in the beginning, as opposed to trying to catch up throughout the whole year. So yeah, and then in the next months, we're going to go into lots of other cool stuff. So that's kind of maybe I'll pass it over to Inès, and she can kind of jump in on the things we'll be sharing in the following months.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that video and for all of your garden puns. I do enjoy them. I'm sure other people will also giggle behind the screen. But if not, we'll get you with other puns and other jokes, hopefully. Well, sweet. I will share my screen so we can kind of go into more of the nitty-gritty details. And all right, thumbs up if you can see this. Hopefully you can see my screen. I'm going to assume that there are many thumbs up behind the scenes. But essentially, this course was made for people who are really interested in regenerative gardening and having the community experience that anybody who's really inspired and wanting to grow their own food can start with the basics, but also feel supported along the way, so that this isn't an overwhelming idea of how to get started and how to learn how to garden in your own particular area, but that you really feel as though Greg, myself, and others in the community can uplift and support your journey within this. So there will be lots of how-to tutorials, but this will be a little bit deeper in the sense of how can we connect to our land? How can we ensure that there is food security in our area? How can we support our neighbors? What does this improve upon in our diets and nutrient density? So there's so much more than just growing our food just for the sake of growing food. There's more of the philosophical ideas and the importance of reconnecting with nature wherever we are and with whatever tools and resources we have on hand. So this kind of comes from the aspect of growing alongside the seasons and really rooting ourselves with where we're at currently. So we'll have a lot of informative blogs for how to get started. We'll have lots of videos and kind of create like that online course experience that allows you to take those tangible aspects from the virtual world into reality and create that hands-on experience as well within yourself, and creating that confidence there, and also helping others around you so that there's more of a welcoming and communal environment. So what's included? Quite a bit. I know 30 is a lot, but there's going to be 30 different modules on how to get started within your home gardening. We'll have 10 really juicy modules on composting, 37, I know, a lot again, informative tutorial videos. So Greg is going to go really in depth on what are some of the seeds that you need, what are some of the equipment, well, how do you prep your soil, what does that look like, how do you know you're on the right course, things of that nature. And then we'll have 9 live sessions with Greg and with myself. We'll have those on Mondays and Fridays, so that I will go into a little bit more depth of what's going to be included for that week. What does that look like? What are some prepping materials that you'll need for that week? And then on those Fridays, Greg will kind of go over a live Q&A. So if you've had any issues for that week, or if you want to learn a little bit more, we're happy to kind of dive deep into that. There will also be lots of resource guides. So kind of like a PDF style of just kind of things that you need to be aware of. What are some tips and tricks? What are some things that Greg or myself or other experts have seen in the field that would be useful and tangible, things of that nature. Alongside with a shopping guide. So sometimes you may need to go out and get different materials that you may not have at home, or what are some alternatives that may be useful. And from there, kind of going out with the supportive outline for after. So after you've completed that step, what is the next step? What does that look like? How do you kind of continue that sustainable, thoughtful process from point A to point B? So there's more. This isn't just April or May. This is the entire year. Every month will be a different theme, but this is not just going to be a kind of 3-week long course and then it's done. There's so much more that we'd love to include you in and kind of just share the resources that have come our way so that other people are able to find what their passion and niche is so that they're able to take action within that particular area. So if you're really passionate about beekeeping, who can we set you up with so that you're able to kind of steward that within your own local area and provide honey if that's of interest. Or if you're really interested in microgreens, what does that look like from the nutrient density side and how can you support that within your diet? Just kind of providing you the tools and tips and tricks so that you're able to kind of steward whatever niche topic really gets you going. So these are some of the custom graphics that we have. So that some of the resource guides, what they would look like. Really, really beautiful things that Leah and others on the team have kind of stewarded. So this is something that you can kind of look forward to. So for April, it's kind of I'll give you the basis of what that looks like. So for 3 weeks, we'll have an online gardening course with live sessions. So what does this all include? There will be 3 intro to the weeks, which will be on Mondays, the April 3rd, 10th, and 17th, where I will steward about a 30-minute conversation as to what to look forward to on that Monday, or on that week. So what does that look like for the week? What are some of the modules that we'll have? What are the things that we'll kind of take a deep dive into? Things of that nature. Then there'll be 3 live Q&As with Farmer Greg on Friday. So based off of that week's material, what questions do you have? What worked for you? What didn't work for you? What materials do you need? Any question that you may have for Farmer Greg, you will be able to get answered live during that session. If you aren't able to attend the intro to the weeks or the Q&A, both will be recorded. And you can also put on the Mighty Networks platform any of your questions, or you can feel free to email me or Greg your questions from there so that they can be answered on those Friday live Q&As. Alongside that, there'll be 31 video tutorials within the gardening course. So you'll be able to go through all of those modules, see kind of the built out, see all the built out content for those weeks and kind of take that course alongside. And I'll show you a little bit more in depth in a few slides later. But essentially, just to reiterate, there'll be the course content released every Monday. So I'll go over those during those Monday sessions on April 3rd, 10th, and 17th. And from there, the live sessions on Fridays will be April 7th, 14th, and 21st. These are all at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're not able to attend again, they will all be recorded and you can submit your questions beforehand and watch the replay. Also included within this, there will be 1 live talk with Zach Bush. He'll go over nutrient density on April 13th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, that will also be recorded. And so this only comes included within the Garden Club. So you would have to register within the Garden Club to view this. So moving on to a couple of other months. For May, there'll be an entire focus on composting. So we'll have 6 really in-depth video tutorials on 6 different types of composting. And this will include a 1 live Q&A with Farmer Greg. So if your composting system needs some help, or maybe there's a bug that you're not really sure about, or maybe there's something that you just kind of want to dive a little bit deeper into based off of the video tutorials that were provided, Greg will be able to go into kind of a one-on-one with you on that communal scale, just to kind of answer any and all questions related to that. So some of the monthly offerings that we have will be a 1-hour live Q&A check-in. So kind of just saying like, what's happening in your garden? What can we do to help? What can Greg do to answer or point you in the right direction? Then we'll have a 1-hour live theme tutorial every month. So kind of taking you, what does growing mushrooms look like? How does that look like from a grow bag? Does that look like from a log? How can you steward that and create your own cultures? So kind of going from start to finish, from beginner level to advanced, just so that you're able to really steward based off of where you are. From there, we'll also have either a 1-hour-long podcast discussion or a skills exchange. So say there's somebody in the audience who really loves talking about the taste of food and the texture of that and how does that impact our taste buds, or if there's somebody who's really interested in a particular type of fruiting plant or perennials, or maybe there's a really amazing resource that they found that they want to share, we can also steward that and have a community conversation around that, so that the community is also able to take part in sharing their knowledge with others. And which is really beautiful. It's just to kind of hear what other people are working on and stewarding within their local environments. So if that's of interest, feel free to reach out to myself or Greg, and we're more than happy to kind of put that and slot that for the year. Again, all of these will be on a Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have special guests depending on the month, whether that's somebody from typically it will be somebody from the industry that will be discussed on. So if it's from, like for June, we'll have mushrooms. So we'll have somebody from the mushroom industry come in and chat about where they're shooting, their journey, what they're working on, how people can get started in their local areas, and then also providing different resources from there. So this is kind of what the year looks like. I know it's a lot of words, but just kind of give you a brief basis. April will be going over gardening, May will be over composting, June will be over June shrooms, going over mushrooms at home, July will be going over chickens, August we'll be going over Korean natural farming, so fertilizers and biochar, September we'll be going over seed saving, October will be rainwater and gray water systems, November will be microgreens and sprouting, December will be making your own sourdough bread, and January will be making kombucha and natural wines, which is super cool. Greg has a really cool friend for that. And then February will be about beekeeping, and then March will be about composting tea. So just kind of, you're probably wondering, why is the compost and the composting tea spread apart for so long? Compost does need to take time to cure. So we can kind of go over from May to March, that entire timeline. What does that look like, and how can you steward compost tea and compost for the entire year? So great things there. So plus, this isn't just the garden club that you get access to, you also get access to the Farmers Footprint community as a whole. And we just want to ensure that wherever you are, that you have the resources given to you so that you're able to take action in your local area and feel supported doing so. So you're able to connect with everybody who's a part of this course and within the Farmers Footprint community at large. You'll be able to chat live with one another, so you can always send somebody else a message. You can also put your questions out there. So if you have a particular question like, hey, why isn't my watermelon growing? Somebody from the community, or Greg or myself, or others who have the gardening experience and knowledge can ask different questions to kind of help you deduce what is best for your local area and soil and journey. And so this is available for iPhone and Android, but definitely I would recommend utilizing your laptop for the web space area, just because it's so much more easy to navigate. But just know that you do have accessibility via your iPhone and Android. So for our audience at large, our community is a little over 7,000 community members. And then from our garden club last year, we had about 280 people join, which was so beautiful to just kind of see their journey from start to finish, because they got to post their before pictures and their after pictures, or kind of share what the produce that they grew that year and that season. And so it's just amazing kind of seeing the journey that people have along the way. So this is what it kind of looks like from the inside. I can go a little bit deeper into it as well by sharing my screen on the website itself, but this is kind of a screenshot from that. These are some of the modules that you'll get to see. So kind of different raised beds, what to grow, different types of seeds and seedlings. And then you'll see different types of videos associated with those modules. So choosing what to plant, the spacing for that, how to set up drip irrigation, kind of going into those in-depth aspects, as well as what are the tools and resources that you need within those. Do you need a different book? Do you need a podcast? What is the best way for you to learn? And how can we also steward that by providing those resources to you? Sometimes somebody needs a podcast, somebody else needs a book, somebody else may need a documentary. So it's all different. We're happy to kind of provide those resources for you to take charge with whatever works best for your learning style. So another screenshot from this would be the community and connection support area. So if there is a question, like Fenya had a question for that, people are able to answer that at large. Greg and myself are also able to answer that and kind of take charge there to see what can we do, how can we help, what are the best things that we would recommend, and what are some things other people would recommend. Perfect. So then we also have events. So we'll have the Mondays and Fridays events for people to join and take and steward from there. We will also have other events where we have
Sorry,
different.
I'm-
Catherine, do you mind putting yourself on mute, please? Thank you, ma'am. And so from there, we'll have the Monday and Friday calls. We'll also have different special guests come in and chat. We'll also have the community. If somebody wants to share their skills and steward from that, we'll have those events as well. So lots of events to attend within the garden club and within the Farmers Footprint community at large. Perfect. And this is also kind of another module screenshot for what the table of contents and activity looks like from the inside.
I was just going to say that I think just so people aren't overwhelmed, like there's a lot of videos and like times to chime in and things, but they're all going to be recorded, right? So you can see some of the videos or the live Q&As afterwards if you can't make the session, or if you can't, you can always ask questions beforehand so that they can be answered at the live. So if you can't make everyone, don't stress out.
Yes, yes. And with that, are there any questions, or if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I don't want to gloss over if there's anything that people are really interested in learning about when I'm going through the slides. Jumping into impact. So some of the feedback that we got last year is that people were really inspired to grow more food, and that they felt really supported based off of the knowledge that Greg had, because he was able to answer their questions when they couldn't find it anywhere else. And I'd say this is also another great aspect, is that you're not every question that you're looking for is going to be found on Google or in a book. Sometimes it's kind of just trial and error and listening to somebody who's been in this space for a little bit to kind of guide you with what the knowledge that they've kind of gotten and what are the tips and tricks that they've utilized within their journey, so that they're able to also relay that information based off of the experiences they've had. So based off of the feedback that we've gotten, this was really tangible for people to continue and feel supported in their journey with creating their own garden. And also some people have even stewarded creating their own farms, which is really cool. So I'll share a little bit about that later, but just kind of taking the giant service to many to really steward the land in a way that they weren't able to in the past. So yeah, just kind of taking all of the nitty-gritty information and distilling it in a way that works best for you. So without further ado, I will stop sharing my screen, and Byron, if you're here, I'll let you share your screen.
Hello.
I'll give a brief background. Byron was one of our garden club members last year and beautifully stewarded his own garden and is still doing so today. But without further ado, take it away, Byron.
Well, hello, gardeners. Hello, friends. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. What can I tell you? Well, I think I'm going to break it into 3 different ways of talking about this. My garden experience was pretty epic last year. I grew up a farm kid, but it was more along the area of, come home from school and mom saying, get out to the garden, pick 4 quarts of strawberries. And it was more of a child labor camp with love. And I never really got into the essence of what gardening really was. Went to business school, and decades later found this program and desired to jump into some deck gardening, peppers and different things, and started out that way and went from there. So I would break this into 3 different things. I added one thing since my talk last week with the journey. But one is Farmer Greg, he's like just really building a knowledge center in you. Access A to Z. I kind of use it a bit like a buffet. There's a lot of information. I certainly didn't try to tackle everything. But I'm excited this year to build off of what I learned last year and go from there. I think the home is kind of, man, your home is so many things, but the physical side of it, just expanding your story, the part of you, co-creation with earth, with nature. Nature really teaches you, really guides you, quite malleable, quite forgiving. I'm certainly not a gardener, but starting to feel like I have a bit of a green thumb that way. And just the whole vision of the backyard, this kind of weekend urban city deck garden or whatever it is. So I've got some pictures that I think can speak way better than me. So I'm going to go to screen share, and Why is it not showing? I just got whiteboards and unknowns. I do not have. Sorry, Inès, I do not have anything that
should-
looks like
It should be at the
me.
bottom. It should be at the bottom
Should
with
be at
the
the
gray, I mean,
bottom.
with the green share screen.
Yeah, just a second here. I got the share screen and there's nothing on the share screen here. It's just desktop. Try that. No. Oh, it's not going to do it today. Son of a gun. Bummer. One last try. Share screen, whiteboard. Darn. It's not going to come up.
You have to open your, you have to open where the pictures are, then you can share your screen.
Oh, I got to go. Okay, just a second. Let me bring it over. Just a second.
Little IT corrections
Little
there.
IT moment here.
The beauty
Garden-
of the
So let's
virtual
try it.
space.
Yeah, that's the cultural community vibe right here.
Yeah, okay, let's try this. No, there's nothing showing here. There's no. No, we got
Interesting.
nothing.
Hmm.
Bummer. All we got is a desktop with an exclamation mark on it. So no images. I can't show you the before and after. Well, I'll have to fake it here. I'll keep going. Part two, I would say, is the whole intrinsic journey of this, of Connect. I'm in the journey of intrinsic health, and I think Zach's kind of central message is that we got to write ourselves back into nature and Earth School. And there's some really great studies on, I guess we talk about as the golden ratio, the rate of injury versus the rate of repair. And there's some incredible studies on your nervous system and just being out with the birds and garden and just bare feet on the earth. And I really experienced that last year. Had some pictures of that. Darn, can't show you that. The last part I would say is just the whole being satiated and just taste. And one bone I had to pick with Farmer Greg is he's ruined me from tomatoes from a grocery store. Like it's just, they're done because they taste like nothing, right? Compared to what you grow in regen soil, it's just a totally absolute different story. We're studying right now in the flow module in the journey of eat your water. And that's, I brought some friends here with me. I brought the cucumber and the celery, but apparently we get more of our hydration through our food than we do through water. So that's a pretty amazing story to go after the whole structured water of gardening and whatnot. When I was putting this together, I'll leave you with this. The song Empty Garden by Elton John came up. And I'm just going to leave you with the one verse from that. And if you don't know the background, that song, it was written by Elton John for John Lennon after he was killed. And the whole idea of the garden is Madison Square Gardens in New York City, and that it's empty now that he's not here. And the parody of it is that I think of what have we done, we being the food giants, we being us, as far as food and how we've made our garden. And Zach talks a lot about this, that you are a garden, and how we have become empty in our garden, in our food system, our food delivery system. So just to leave you with these words, what happened here as the New York sunset disappeared? I found an empty garden among the flagstones there. Who lived here? He must have been a gardener that cared a lot, who weeded out the tears and grew a good crop. And now it all looks so strange. It's funny how one insecticide, I'll add, one insect can damage so much grain.
Thank you, Byron. I also, yes. Thank you so much for sharing. I also made you co-host, so if you want to try again, feel free to go for
okay.
one last time.
One
If
last
not-
try. Okay, so let's see here. Let's take a peek. I got to open this up a little bit more here. Share screen. Yeah, no, there's nothing there. I don't know what's going on. It's just an exclamation mark in blue. So not
So
meant.
why didn't you get out of Zoom and then open on your desktop the pictures that you want to open. Then go back to Zoom and then press share screen, and then you can share your pictures.
Did you say you want me to get out of Zoom?
No.
No,
So like
no.
if you have your photos already pulled up, then you should be able to
Yeah.
click on those.
Photos are on this screen. Yeah. They are here. And I still have to go to share screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
One participant can share at a time. Multiple participants can share at a time. Okay. I'll just go to one to see if anything changes there. And it is not meant to be. There's no family photos today, friends.
No,
We
it's
can
okay.
share Byron's video. He made a video on YouTube, so we'll share that. You can see his before and
Why don't you
afters.
share the pictures to one of the hosts, and then maybe they can share the
Yes,
screen?
yes. We do. We have his YouTube video, so we can share that if Leia, you
Yeah,
have it.
let's
up and
do it that
ready.
way. That's
We'll go from
great.
there. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Bummer.
Of Zoom.
Yeah, as
Oh,
long as
wow.
everyone's still with us and we're still going, we just let's do it. And where everybody else is in the world is like this, is there a lot of snow? Is it just starting to kind of, is there, I mean, I'm sure maybe in Delaware there's snow, Rhode Island, Lori, I don't know. Other people have a lot of snow on the ground, but is it just starting to subside, and can you see, you know, some warmer days ahead coming? Or is it still like, still got some more time with snow on the ground?
Okay, sweet. Seems like there's still quite a bit of
Snow
snow.
here.
Yeah, a lot of snow still. I think it's a good time to prep like before getting your thoughts and around what to garden or what where to grow before the season starts, because I do a lot of mine in the, you know, prep in the winter time, and then I'm ready for the spring, as opposed to as soon as the sun's up, then you're like, oh, let's go plant some stuff, but you're like months behind if you're starting in summer or something, it's already too late. So it's a good time now to get started now, I would say. Do all the prep work before the actual growing. How we doing there? We're getting
Yes, we're doing
close?
just fine. We'll probably just share Byron's video in the chat. But Byron, if you do want to try leaving and come back, and then we can try that again, more than happy to steward that. But for now, we'll kind of cruise on forward onto finishing our slideshow. Sweet. Perfect. So this is what the YouTube video that Byron shared with us last year. It was a really sweet video that he created for us, but we'll have Leia drop it in the chat, or Byron drop it in the chat throughout this meeting, and then also post it on our Mighty Networks, so you guys can check it out a little bit later. Oh, actually, there it goes. I don't know if you guys can hear it though.
No.
It's like in super slow-mo. Anyway.
Alrighty, I hope you guys were able to see a little bit of that. So kind of gives a basis of to what Byron had going on there. Sweet. So some survey results that we had for last year was about 97 people said that they were empowered to continue gardening along their journey, which is really wholesome to see that people are really inspired to continue moving forward within that. and also saying that they felt really inspired to grow seasonally alongside the courses that we were providing, and that they felt really confident alongside. So being able to have access to their own food that they're growing and knowing that they feel confident enough to do so and move forward, and having Greg as the guide to do so really showcases the beauty of this garden course and the community behind it as well. So a little bit more of the survey results and people talking about how a lot of the missing information that they weren't finding, they were able to find within the community and throughout this course, and that Greg was also able to really help with his knowledge as a farmer and as a gardener to really steward that and give the people the exposure that they needed to kind of move forward. So some little tidbits here and there, but really wholesome to see that people are moved by the course itself. And without further ado, the course is $24 a month, and so you can cancel anytime. It is month to month, or you can purchase the year long, which is $149 per year, which saves you $139 throughout the entire year. And just to reiterate that this course, all of the proceeds goes to Farmers Footprint so that we're able to continue the work that we do supporting farmers, supporting community members alike, those who are a part of the regenerative movement and those who are interested in stewarding that as well. So just kind of promoting the aspect of restoring human and planetary health as a whole. That's kind of the basis for all of the work that we're doing and what we're working towards and striving within every and all communities. So thank you guys so much. If you guys have any questions, more than happy to kind of steward those now and go from there. Yes, so the garden club, please, I'm butchering your name, Teplo. Will you create a garden club group within Mighty Networks Farmers Footprint? There is already, yes, we do have the garden club already situated within the Farmers Footprint community. So it's there on our Mighty Networks platform. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, or if you're feeling full of confidence and wanting to put yourself on the live mic, also welcoming for that as well. Or if Greg, if you have anything you want to add, more than happy to have that.
Sure. You've already said a lot of great things. I wanted to say one thing to reiterate with the ongoing like monthly subscription, or that, because we'll have live Q&As, and so there's going to be a lot of crossover from month to month, because for example, gardening, like you set it up in April, but then your vegetables are growing and fruits are growing all year round. So you're going to have questions in, June, July, August, from what we went over in April. So in the live Q&As, you can ask questions about like, hey, my tomato's doing this, or my celery is doing this. Like, how do I troubleshoot? Or I have this kind of bug, or I have that. And then so we can answer those questions. There's gonna be a lot of crossover, which is really cool. That's one of the joys of one of the beauties of being involved year round. And same with like compost. Sometimes it takes more than a month for it to actually break down fully. There's a lot of troubleshooting with, you have to add water, you have to turn it, you add oxygen. So it's just like an ongoing support group, which is really cool. And then not only for me and the Farmers Footprint community, but the other people in the community that are a part of this course, kind of doing the same thing. So everyone's going to be kind of learning along the way. And like I said, just the beauty of it is being able to ask questions from previous months, so that you just get the right answers and you have like constant support, which is great.
So we have a hand raised by JSS. If you want to ask your live question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, after we finish the garden, the course, what's the next step? What are the future steps for us after maybe the 1-2 years we finish the course? Is there any steps or maybe things we can benefit into or go into? Example, where a young or a big young person like me in my 20s and want to go into this field in more advanced.
Yeah, I can just jump in on that. Like, so if you've gone through these and you learned everything that we could, because a lot of our beginner courses, for me personally, I'd like to do, we've already talked about doing more advanced classes. So getting bigger gardens or small scale farms or even, you know, a profession, doing a market garden or a vegetable farm or a chicken farm or, you know, whatever. Just how to scale it up a little bit. So if you want to take it to the next level, whether I started doing, it was a hobby at first and then it was a part-time job and now it's a full-time job. So you could do the same. I can show you how I did it, and the people we can take case studies from other people that have done the same thing. And same thing with, you know, if you want to be a beekeeper, or if you know, and you want to have hives of honey and start a neighborhood co-op of hives around your neighborhood, which a friend of mine does here, and I collect honey from him. Just stuff like that, how to scale it up. So this is all the beginning courses, and then I think we should scale it up because there's going to be a lot of people that want to make a bigger impact in their community. I think it's a great way to keep going.
I'd also add it depends very much on what your goals are and what really interests you. So if you're looking forward to creating a business out of that, how can we help steward you in being able to create a long, sustainable, thriving business within that aspect? Or maybe you're just kind of looking to connect with other people who are interested in that particular niche topic. How can we create the resources for you to find others who are really stewarding this in your local community and across the world? So it really depends on what your passion is and what you're wanting to kind of move towards. And we're more than happy to kind of create that environment for you to really blossom. So yeah, it really depends on what stokes your flame. Sweet. I hope that we answered your question, JSS, but if not, please feel free to add in the chat or unmute.
Yes, I just wanted to add, so Greg say that there are going to be future advanced courses. When do you hope to get those advanced courses onto the platform? Because like, I think I have done some regenerative courses locally and internationally. And I think I would like to go for more of the advanced courses.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would say that you and I should just talk separately, because some teams are maybe it's a little bit more of a beginner type class, and I can definitely in the Q&As give some insight of how to scale it up a little bit. But if you've already, you know, you're already at that level, then maybe we are going to offer some private consulting with me if that's all right, with the Farmers Footprint team. We just offer some private consulting with me, and I can just give you direct advice on how to scale it up and how to make it more of a profession, how to get involved in your community.
Thank you.
So then, as far as like an actual course on this, we haven't, we're focusing on this part. So maybe, I don't know if it's a year from now or 6 months from now, but thanks for that, asking that. And so I know that there's a need for it, or that people want to do it. I think it's great. So this is, like I said, this is just the start, and everybody, I would encourage to scale it up even more and make it into something of actual impact, like a profession, or I don't know, just getting a lot of nutrient dense vegetables out to your community. I think it's just fantastic. But focus on doing it yourself, and if you can grow it yourself and be happy doing it, then you can keep growing for others. That's kind of what I did. Like, I was doing it for myself, and then just started growing more and more and more, and it felt good to give food out to people. You kind of trade that way.
Yes, love it, love it. Well, sweet. We had Sherry ask a question related to, will the club address various soil conditions in different climates? Here in Colorado, we have very challenged soils with lots of clay. And I definitely feel you. Here in Houston, we have lots of clay. I'm sure lots of other areas are also dealing with that and how to kind of steward that. But yes, definitely go into that. How can people kind of steward alongside the context of their land? What works best for them? There's so much more than just the soil itself, but kind of the context of the slopes and what also is nearby. So we'll definitely go into a little bit of detail about that. I did put in the chat a good soil map resource that you can essentially see what kind of soil you have and what other people have. Is stewarded by the University of California, Davis, as well as the USDA here in the United States. you can essentially see all of the soil types, and it'll give you your pH, what kind of elements are there. It kind of goes into a lot of nitty-gritty details. So if that's of interest for you and you're not able to get a soil test as easily, I'd recommend utilizing that for the time being, and then kind of going from there based off of the context of your land. But Greg, feel free to chime in if that doesn't
Sure.
feel complete.
Just one more thing in the course, we show you how to do an at-home soil test. So it's great to do a store-bought soil test, and you can send those out, and they're $25 to $50, which is pretty inexpensive and tell you all the nutrients and things. But I show you in one of the modules how to just do an at-home simple the jar soil test. You pretty much just dig some soil from your yard and put it in a jar, and fill it halfway with water, put a little dish soap in there, shake it up, and that's just a quick and dirty, literally. And it'll all separate out. Your sand particles will be on one portion, your clay particles will be on one, organic matter on the other. And so you'll see like an actual separation in the jar, and you'll see like, oh, I have 10% clay, or I have 80% clay, or I have 10% sand, or whatever. So then after that, we show you how to amend it, and what materials to amend it with to break up the clay or add organic matter to a sandy soil. So it's pretty much just how to amend heavy clay soils or heavy sandy soils. So yeah.
Perfect. And Sherry also asked another question related to bees. Kind of just basically the overarching aspect of the impact of pesticides in a suburbia area. So if there's any guidance on whether or not it's good to have bees in the suburbia, I'd say yes, it is amazing to have bees everywhere just because of their decline in population, as well as knowing that they are pollinators. I do work in an urban area with beekeepers, and so there are issues, I'd say rurally and urban wise within beekeeping, just understanding the neonicotinoids, which is the type of pesticide that impacts bees' nervous system and kills them. Within that aspect, I'd say it's not just within urban areas, and it does happen. It doesn't happen as often, just depending on where they're located and who is also spraying in your neighborhood. So even just like having that conversation with neighbors that are nearby is the first step. Just kind of saying, hey, we have bees here. We'd love for them to kind of steward and live long as possible with a healthy lifestyle. And just kind of like having that conversation just kind of upfront, that if they're using anything, just let us know ahead of time so that we're able to kind of either shelter them in place, or how can we steward that otherwise. But yes, I have seen firsthand the impact of pesticides on bees, and also kind of hearing from commercial beekeepers the impacts of orchard and spraying, things of that nature. So more than happy to kind of go into more of a one-on-one conversation about that. But I do think it's beneficial nonetheless, and can also kind of dive into deeper conversations about glyphosate-free honey and things of that nature. Love talking about bees. So more than happy to kind of steward that with you. Beautiful. We're coming up. Yeah, I know we're coming up to time. So if there are any other last minute questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Or unmute, whatever works best and tickles your fancy. More than happy to kind of steward that. Or if Byron, you want to try last minute.
Okay.
One last time.
Sure. Let's go here. I tried getting in and out. Yeah, allow share systems to. Oh, maybe I don't have a share system thing going on Zoom here. It's on me.
It's all good. It's all good. It happens to the best.
Let's see here. They may not be able to record the contents. Okay. Yeah. Later. Okay. You keep talking, but I think something must have been turned off here. Let's just see.
Good.
There.
Oh, you may have to unmute, Byron.
Unmute yourself, Byron.
Byron, we can't hear you. You have to unmute.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize what the show is going on today here. It's
All
the
good, all
first time in the
good.
Zoom world. Okay, I do have it. Are you seeing the screen or?
We're seeing your whole
Or is-
screen right now.
Okay, okay, all right. I'm gonna go there and then I'm gonna go there. Are we there? Do you guys
Yeah,
see
we're there.
Hey, touchdown, here we are. Okay, all right. So this is my home. You'll see that it's a nice home, but there's no food gardens here, right? Like nothing, and it's very bachelor-esque, right? That's the before. Boring. Now there's a little bit of a delay here, so I don't know if you're seeing this. This is the back of the house, and then now here's the after. So I mean, it was a paint party, it was furniture, but I dug. Is this keeping up? Are you seeing it here? I dug.
Yes, we are.
I dug. And then go figure, there's this wonderful nursery, like 10 minutes from my house. They got the food tents. And I don't think I've told you this, Inès, but I work with a naturopath and it's his partner who's the grower. So she is all things greenhouse food. You and Greg would just love it. It's done very, very well. So I did not do seedlings. I cheated and this is my fleet, but had some help with the neighbor. I'm out here in the country and I got huge into herbs. I really wanted to go after the idea of what I could do with the deck and the barbecue. And yeah, I mean, you get to eat this stuff and it's incredible. You put it in, you throw it down the ground and it grows. Thanks to Greg, this is my irrigation system here. I had a quote done for like, I don't know, it's crazy. It was like $4,000. It was like, what's that about? And I ended up we have Lee Valley here. I don't know if you guys have it in the States, something similar to that, but it was like $220 for everything for my irrigation. And it was, a couple wobbly pops and a buddy and away we went and we got it done in a few hours. It was quite awesome. Tomatoes, I went really crazy on tomatoes, zebra tomatoes. I did cherry tomatoes. I have the mouse sores to prove it. There's a lot of acidic state there. I did a lot of kale. This is my bone broth that I did with my herbs, and that's a nice blend too. I did it cold in the summer. And again, you get to make food out of this stuff. That's the best part of it. Some bragging rights here. I had some friends who kind of got into gardening too. And this is kind of the halfway point as things were growing and whatnot. But I'm going to expand on this theme this year. Of course, got a little bit of nighttime fun. And the peppers. Andrea, this grower, she probably grows about 17, 18 different types of peppers. And some of them are like extraordinarily hot. But I mean, you can do all kinds of things with peppers that are pretty awesome. And yeah, like for guys, it's kind of combining the barbecue and what you can do in your backyard. And yeah, I like Greg said, I gave stuff to some neighbors and took stuff up to the cottage and just had a lot of conversation. This is a real health journey, I would say, because for me, I was spending a lot of time in the mornings, getting up with the sun, the whole circadian biology rhythm thing that Dr. Zach talks about. Really enjoyed that part too. So I think that's about my story. What's left? Yeah, that's my story of abundance there in the backyard.
I love it. And I'm so glad that we were able to share your story, Byron, through the photos.
Sorry it
did
took
it.
so long.
No,
It's
it's
done in
okay.
Zoom. Damn technology.
It's all good. It's all good. I know we are past time, so if you do have to hop off, I don't want to hold you hostage. It's wonderful having you guys here. If you do have any last minute questions, I can stay on for the next 5 minutes and kind of hopefully answer them as quickly as possible. But if not, we can always have a conversation through email or Mighty Networks. Just a deep thank you for you all being here, and we hope to see you in the garden club.
Thanks, everyone. Yo. Did we get through all the questions like on the side on the right?
I had a
Good.
question. I just wanted to ask, what do you mean by the soil food map?
It's in the chat. So the entire United States has been mapped out based off of all of their soil types. The USDA working tandem with other universities to create an entire map of all the soils in the United States. So you can kind of see what type of soil somebody has in Colorado in a particular area. You can type in your address and it'll show you all of your type of soils. What's kind of the consistency of that soil? What is the percentage of it? So is it 50% sand? What is the percent of silt? What is the percent of clay? You can kind of see what it's labeled as. It gets really technical onto the soil type, but yeah, it kind of gives you the
Is
broad
there-
basis as well.
Is there any worldwide soil food map? Because I'm not located
Not-
in US.
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I'd have to do a little bit more research. I'm only aware of this one for the United States. Yeah.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
if we do have any in-depth questions, can we just share them on and then, because is it mostly United States or is it worldwide?
I'd say most of our community base is based in the United States, but we do have a lot of people in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, lots of different places in Africa, or lots of different countries rather in Africa, particularly South Africa, lots of different places in Europe. But yeah, lots of different areas across the globe, but I'd say primarily our community base is in the United States.
Okay. Thank
Of course, of course. Well, sweet. Thank you everyone for being here. We'll let you get back to the beautiful day. And we hope to see your faces in the garden club.
And kickoff is when? When's the?
Our
First
official
day-
kickoff is April 3rd. So you're able to access some of the information now, but our official kickoff is April 3rd. And so that's when we'll have those Monday meetings. And so kind of going through the intro of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Sweet. All righty.
Thanks, everyone.
Perfect.
Thanks, Inés.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
Bye, guys.
Bye.